So as Wade mentioned, my name is Scott Harmon. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for Z Corporation. Z Corporation manufactures a thing called a three-dimensional printer, and I'll start with a quick video to tell you what a three-dimensional printer is, and then we'll talk about what customers do with those.
Whether you need to see a model that looks virtually identical to the real thing, require detailed text labeling on your parts, or need to identify various parts in a complex assembly, the Z-Printer 650 is the solution you've been waiting for. Now it's possible to make many models at actual size, eliminating the hassle of having to combine several smaller pieces to form a whole. Your time is better spent generating new ideas, not learning how to operate a complicated piece of machinery. That's why we've made running the Z-Printer 650 simple and quick. Simply import your 3D data file into our Z-Print software, position as desired, and follow the prompts. When ready, click Print, and watch your 3D model emerge from a monolith, one cross-section at a time, in 640 dpi resolution. You get a smooth, vivid color model that lasts, and you get it fast. Best quality, biggest build volume, fastest print times.
There was a directive that came down about 2 years ago, just after we purchased the Spectrum 510, and it said that no more molds will be open until the part is confirmed. And at that point, the work tripled. Everyone knew they had to have a prototype, and if it wasn't exactly what they were looking for, had to go back to the CAD engineers. They'd have to redevelop that file and get back to me. So it has done a great deal as far as keeping me busy, but also saving Reebok a ton of money and time by getting it done right the first time.
We would find is that as designers, they would sometimes design on a smaller scale or a simpler scale than they might do with a 3D printer because they would feel constrained by their own physical skills in model making. And that would feed back into their design work, simplify things. Now, with this, there are no constraints. They can design whatever they like and print it.
On these models, when you have a model in your hand, something interesting happens. It's almost like the model starts to talk back to you and give you new ideas that you didn't have before. So it's somehow a tool either to refine ideas or to generate new ideas. So of course that's something, when we go into this particular life, it's interesting for us to learn from.
So as we mentioned, we make the machines. The machines actually make things. I've got a few examples here that I'll pass around. Some different kinds of parts, some mechanical, some related to architecture. Fundamentally, the way that we help our customers is it's all about getting to market faster and at lower cost. And so pretty much everybody in this room should be familiar with the fact that as you get further along in the design process, when you make a change, the cost of that change goes up dramatically. Some studies suggest that it's 10 times as expensive to make a change late in the process as it is just one step earlier. In the general design process, it tends to find mistakes later. If you're not using prototyping, then as you heard from Reebok, you're going to cut a tool, you're going to blow some plastic into it, you're going to find out that doesn't work, you're going to make a mistake, you're going to go back and do it again. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get customers to make prototypes to make sure that the product that they're designing is the right product the first time. To push mistakes earlier in the design process, to settle the final design earlier at lower cost for everyone. The difference between those two curves is the benefit the customer gets. And that benefit is in time to market, it's in the amount of money spent on tooling, market research and everything else. It's also frankly just about keeping your entire organization safe. I think everybody's been part of an organization where different people in the organization and outside the organization don't have a clear view of what they want. Everybody has their own conception of what that really means. What you need to do in order to launch products successfully is everybody has to be on the same sheet of music. And the nice thing about a physical model is there's no questions. There's no perspective on it. It is what it is. You can hold it in your hand, you can see what it is that you're talking about. And that gets everybody on the same sheet of music early in the process. It's one thing to talk about companies like Reebok, billion-dollar companies like Cisco. Here's an example of a customer of ours, a company called Spirax Sarco. They do industrial heat exchange equipment. Kind of a bizarre little market. It's kind of a couple $100 million company. They bought a 3D printer for the same reason most engineering firms do, and that's to save money on prototypes. So in the old days, prototyping machines cost $500,000, thousands of dollars per prototype. If I can buy a 3D printer, I get them fast, cheap, easy, I save money. That's why most people buy it to begin with. What they figured out was that by not just replacing the old prototypes, but by making new prototypes and involving more people in the design process, they were actually compressing time to market, in this case by 25 to 30%. So simply by bringing marketing and bringing customers into the design process sooner, they could compress design cycles by making fewer mistakes. After they did that, they figured out, well, we don't just have to use this in the design process, we can actually use it in the sales process. And so pretty soon, instead of lugging these big mechanical metal assemblies around to customers, they were showing customers concept models to help them interact and to close business. An example here, they did a mock-up, an actual 3D print of a custom heat exchange system, won a $600,000 job as a result of the fact that they did it with an actual model. The rest of the customers came in with a drawing. And then finally, you get into marketing. And so now you've got the model showing up at trade shows and things like that, where you can actually show potential customers who you don't even know what's different about your product, what's unique about what you do, and you can explain it to them in a way that's accessible that allows them to interact with the design on their own terms. We feel that there are lots of situations where digital design is very, very important. You can answer a lot of questions with digital design using software like everybody else here talks about. But at the end of the day, the physical model has enormous value in some kinds of customer sets, with people who don't work with CAD every day, and also with some kinds of design questions. And that's what we're here to help out. Thanks for your time.